Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has been publicly pursuing Max Verstappen since Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari was confirmed at the beginning of February. While Mercedes couldn't convince the reigning world champion to join Brackley for 2025, they have a strong chance to do so in 2026. Wolff and Christian Horner have long been fierce rivals, with their relationship especially strained during the intense 2021 championship battle between Hamilton and Verstappen. Their rivalry flared up again at the Singapore Grand Prix, when Horner hinted that Red Bull had an eye on George Russell for 2026. After Wolff's attempts to lure Verstappen to Mercedes during the early part of the 2024 season, Horner countered by stirring speculation in Singapore. Even though Red Bull has Verstappen and Sergio Perez under contract beyond 2024, rumours of changes continue due to the team's recent dip in form. Perez's position has often been in doubt given his inconsistent results, while Verstappen has made it clear he doesn't plan to race forever. This leaves Red Bull with important decisions to make, especially after parting ways with Daniel Ricciardo to give Liam Lawson a chance to prove himself. Amid all this, Horner fueled speculation by mentioning Russell as a potential target. "We have a gap now, but we want to take time to assess what options we have for the future. It would be foolish not to consider someone like George Russell, who is out of contract at the end of next year. There are other talented drivers who will also be available. Mercedes has already lined up Russell for 2025 alongside Andrea Kimi Antonelli, with Russell set to play a crucial role after Hamilton's departure. However, they would have preferred to secure Verstappen to form a dominant pairing. After Hamilton's shocking move to Ferrari was confirmed for 2025, Verstappen was immediately linked as his high-profile replacement, with Wolff capitalising on Red Bull's internal politics in an attempt to sway the Dutchman to switch teams. Ultimately, Antonelli was chosen to partner Russell in 2025, but Wolff left the door open for Verstappen in 2026, when significant technical regulation changes will take effect. Mercedes hopes to replicate their success from the 2014 regulation shift, while doubts remain over Red Bull's in-house power unit project. Although Verstappen and Red Bull's Helmut Marko have confirmed his stay for 2025, they have been less definitive about the years beyond. Wolff, reflecting on the situation, acknowledged that any external flirting with Verstappen is on hold for now, as the Dutchman seems set to stay put in the near term. We're sitting back, I think I've expressed it before, and we have a similar view also from Max's side. You've got to put faith in your drivers or in your team. You need to give it the maximum support you can to make it a success. And only if things go really wrong you will consider other opportunities. For me, it's like flirting outside whilst you're making your relationship work. It doesn't work. I'm not flirting outside. Only if I want to have a change or consider a change, I would seek a conversation. It is the same on Verstappen's side. We're pretty aligned in our values on that, I think. Speculation around Max's future in Formula 1 continues to swirl, despite his long-term contract with Red Bull Racing, which runs through 2028. While Verstappen has dominated both on and off the track in recent years, questions remain about his commitment to Red Bull and the sport as a whole. Red Bull has confirmed that Verstappen, who has been a dominant force since joining the team in 2016, will continue racing with them in the 2024 season, despite his occasional comments about possible retirement. Verstappen has already cemented an impressive legacy, having won 3 consecutive World Championships since 2021. As the 2024 season approaches, he remains the leader in the Drivers' Championship standings, although McLaren's Lando Norris is closing the gap. Despite the apparent certainty surrounding his immediate future at Red Bull, rumours of tension and doubts about his long-term commitment persist. The speculation isn't solely tied to the duration of his contract. There are ongoing uncertainties about whether Verstappen wants to stay in Formula 1 for the long haul. Earlier this year, Max openly expressed his frustration with Formula 1's governing body, the FIA, over a penalty imposed on him. The punishment for allegedly using inappropriate language prompted Verstappen to suggest that retirement could be on the cards sooner than many had expected. His comments have left fans and pundits alike questioning his continued presence in the sport. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko, who has been instrumental in shaping Verstappen's career, recently stressed the seriousness of the matter, warning the media and the F1 community Max must be taken seriously. Wolff was hoping that the early season turmoil within Red Bull following the allegations made against Horner, allied to questions over the squad's long-term competitiveness, could tempt Verstappen to make a move. But with the talks going nowhere, and Mercedes increasingly impressed with junior driver Andrea Kimi Antonelli's progress in testing this year, the interest in a Verstappen swoop fell away. While Mercedes sees Antonelli as someone for the very long term, the future of Russell has been the subject of interest, with Red Bull suggesting he could be a candidate for the Milton Keynes squad when his current contract expires at the end of 2025. But Wolff sees Russell as an integral part of Mercedes for years to come, and thinks he will revel in the fresh challenge of going up against the young Antonelli. George has a similar trajectory in terms of karting and junior formula, and George was the first Mercedes junior that joined us. He's still our Mercedes driver. We don't make a big difference between him and Antonelli. Emotionally, we give them the same support. Nothing changes. Every top driver in F1 knows that he needs to compete against their teammate, whether he's young or old. George's teammate has been Lewis Hamilton, the greatest driver of all time for 3 years. So he will be just fine competing against one of the youngest, who comes in with great expectations. Despite Russell's Mercedes contract expiring in a year, Helmut Marko has stated that Red Bull remains focused on its own pool of talent. Perez's recent form has been a concern, with the Mexican driver scoring just 41 points in the last 12 races, only 21% of Verstappen's 195-point haul. This underperformance has significantly impacted Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, allowing McLaren to establish a comfortable lead. While race winner Russell could be an attractive option for Red Bull, especially with his Mercedes contract running until the end of 2025, Marko acknowledges his talent but suggests that pursuing him is unlikely. Russell is on a par with Hamilton in qualifying, if not faster. But Russell is Mercedes-Benz affiliated, and now we are focusing on our juniors. We see this with Colapinto, for example. He was relatively inexperienced and not very successful in the junior series, although it has to be said that he never had the best teams. But what an incredible performance he is putting in now. And now let's see what our juniors, or even a Yuki, can do. He can also be described as a junior, but as I mentioned earlier, how does he compare to a Lawson? The battle between Horner and Wolff for the top talent in F1 is heating up again, with Mercedes keeping an eye on Verstappen for 2026 and Red Bull teasing a potential Russell move. With so much going on, the next few seasons could be crucial for both teams. What do you think? Will Verstappen stay loyal to Red Bull, or could Mercedes tempt him to make the switch? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for the latest F1 news.